What's going on, everybody? Yes, it's been quite a while, but we're back, and I'm gonna do a quick transfer rumor just of the whole week. Because normally, obviously, I do transfer videos, transfer talks. The day your transfer comes out. So there was a lot of transfers happening, and I've been a little bit busy. And doing nothing exactly. So I've had 2 weeks off, no responsibilities whatsoever. So I've just been sat here in this chair watching football, just watching other teams play, watching internationals. You know, just basically spending time watching football, trying to learn more about the game. But there has been a lot of transfer news happening recently. So what I'm gonna do it the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'll look at each transfer and then I'll give it a rating of how likely I think it's going to happen, and if it's going to happen at all. And yeah, we'll start with a good one, which isn't really a transfer in itself, more like a contract extension, and that exactly is Robert Lewandowski. He is rumored to have signed a contract extension until 2021. That makes him the next player to obviously have a contract till 2021. And obviously there's been a lot of rumors about him going to Real Madrid, a lot of rumors of him going to Arsenal, Manchester United. We're looking at him for like, I think 80 million or something like that. So you had a lot of teams that were looking to pay a lot of money for Lewandowski, but obviously his agent and him have previously said that he's going to sign his contract extension at Bayern. And now all the newspapers coming out, especially Sport Bild, who were the first person to report it, it looks like that is his transfer saga done, quote unquote, if it gets announced, of course. And they were saying that it's going to get announced during the summer break, during internationals, during the Euro. Just so obviously if somebody were to leave, they'd have that to be basically like positive news. But how likely is it that Lewandowski extended his contract till 21? I think you were looking at a solid 90%. I think 90% that it's that transfer is done. Normally when Sport Bild and Bild, normally when they come out, even Sport 1 is quite reliable with transfer extensions and whatnot. Generally, all the newspapers are pretty reliable when it comes to players having extended their contract. So I think that's very reliable, and considering what his agent just recently said, when he came out and said that he's about to extend his contract, I think that this is very likely, and I think 90% is pretty much as good as given. Unless something big happens right now, unless Lewandowski suddenly burns his house down, unless something like that happens, I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to really change him, putting that signature on a piece of paper. Now, next up, we're gonna have two different ones. We're gonna be looking at two different ones, and the reason why I'm doing two different ones because it's both the same player, but it's two different teams. Now, the first one is Mario Götze going to Liverpool. Now, if Mario Götze were to go to Liverpool, what are the chances that he's gonna go there? Reunite with Klopp. Personally, I don't think the chances are that high. I think they're pretty equal to what they are of him going to Dortmund. So I'm basically doing two transfers in one right now. I think both of them are pretty equal. That both of them are likely, but both of them have I don't see both of them happening for one reason. The first one, for him not going to Dortmund, I think that's pretty obvious why Mario Götze wouldn't go to Dortmund. Obviously the reception he'd get, obviously Vatican and whatnot. They've been trying to increase the make the fans feel less. I guess make the fans feel more welcoming towards Götze, towards a potential move of Götze come in. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to be happening. Whereas with Liverpool, they're not really looking at Mario Götze. They're not really looking at Mario Götze as a player. They're more looking at wingers. So I don't think that that he would really fit into their team. Obviously, for the kind of money that you could get Mario Götze, it'd be a steal not to. But I do think that Klopp especially is a pretty smart person when it comes to transfers, so I don't think he'd go for a position that he knows he's not going to need that much. He's going to go for something that he needs, which is a winger, a keeper, and probably a centre back. I don't know. I do watch them a few times, but not that often. But yeah, what do you think the likeliness of that rumor is? I think there is a 35% chance that he'll go to Liverpool, 35% chance that he'll go to Dortmund, maybe a 10% chance that he's going to go to a different team. Juventus have been looking in the mix, Arsenal have been in the mix, so you have other teams that are in the mix. I could even see Manchester United trying to go for it, because obviously it's Götze. Every big team would want him. So like I said, 35% to Liverpool, 35% to Dortmund, and 10% to a different club. and then you're looking at a 20% chance of him actually staying at Bayern. I think it all depends on what obviously Ancelotti says. after like obviously the few training sessions and whatnot. But I think that is quite difficult to do, because if Germany do go far, and I do feel that we'll go far in the Euros, then we're looking at obviously not as much training sessions under Ancelotti for Götze, and Bayern might want to not take a chance and then sell him. Who knows? It's all a difficult gamble at this point. But like I said, I do think that the chances are 35% for each team and 20% of him staying at Bayern. Now, next up we have Ousmane Dembele, who we've been linked to for almost 2 months now, and it ultimately the player came out. All the newspapers reported that we had signed him. We had the talks and everything, and that he was about to move. And then the player came out and he was like, nope, I've had no talks with Bayern Munich. I've had no talks with any other club. My contract is still running for 3 years, and if another club wants me, they'll have to talk to me. But right now, I don't want to move anywhere. Right now, I want to stay here. Right now, I want to just develop myself, and that's why I want to stay at. That's why I don't want to move. That's why I want to stay. And since then, the rumours have just totally died down. He's not been linked to Bayern Munich anymore. The newspaper has stopped. So it seemed like all the newspapers were in it. They were all for it. And then suddenly it just stopped. They were like, nope, okay, he came out. Let's just stop our transfer rumours. But I've looked at him as a player. I've watched some matches of him. I watched some highlights of him. I've watched some highlights of matches of him. And overall, I do think that he's a pretty great player. I think that when it comes to comparison, you could compare him to Coleman, but I think Coleman has the football intelligence over him, whereas Dembele, he looks to be much more two-footed. He's able to use his right foot, he's able to use his left foot, and he's able to score a lot more. So he could be potentially a striker with Costa on left, with Coleman on the right, and then Müller obviously behind him. So you're looking very dangerous. Or if you want, you can have Götze behind him. So you'd have like a very young team essentially. The oldest player there being Costa with like 25, and obviously Dembele, the 22-year-old, 21-year-old, the striker, Coleman, 19-year-olds on the right. You'd have a very young team. You'd be set. But we've been looking at him, like I said, for quite a while. But he came out that he said that no team has actually actively approached him, and that's why I think that rumor is probably around a 35%. Just because I do think that if so many newspapers are reporting it, then there is a chance that that there is a chance that we've actually approached his agent and whatnot, but it might just be that he hasn't made up his mind, and that's why he's trying to keep it down. And the last bit of transfer rumors that we have here is that Pepe is going to move to Bayern Munich. Now that one actually came out yesterday, and I was thinking like, Pepe, we've been linked to a lot of centre backs, and I understand why, but Pepe, like no offense against Pepe, but why out of all defenders Pepe? We don't really buy defenders that are that old, especially his age. He's 33 years old. But for 10 million, that obviously would be a great steal. And obviously he worked with Ancelotti before, so yeah, it could potentially work. But I think there are so many other centre backs that we've been linked to, we've looked at, should I say, not really linked with, but looked at, or rumoured to be looking at and looked at, such as Time, whatnot. That I think that Pepe, he's a little bit out of nowhere from a small publication as well, so he's not from a huge newspaper, that would have a lot of sources inside a club. He's from a smaller newspaper, so you'd look at that and you think, nah, that isn't that likely. But then again, you could look at it and think, and I'll get into this transfer afterward, because just remember that Benatia for Morata, the swap deal. But you could look at, if Benatia goes, we'd have to get one centre back in and potentially a second one, maybe a young one. So if obviously it depends on Ancelotti's plan, if he's willing to move Javi back into midfield or if he stays in defence. So it all depends on that really. So I think maybe getting Pepe in and maybe like a very young centre back to like have obviously Badstuber as well, and a very young centre back such as Tar come in to mix and just play a little bit here, because we have a lot of fixtures and we have a lot of injury prone players. We have obviously Badstuber, who's pretty much injured all the time. Boateng, he picked up obviously his first big injury, or I think his first big injury in quite a while now. Then we obviously have a lot of other players that play defense. Javi, I'm thinking of Javi, who obviously is quite injury prone as well, or has had massive injuries recently. And then you obviously have Benatia, who I don't know how his future at Bayern looks like. So Pepe could make sense, but if we get Pepe, we have to get another centre back as well, preferably a younger one. And that's why I think this rumour has a good possibility of being true, but ultimately I don't think it's going to be true. And ultimately I put this rumour at maybe at 20%. And last but not least, I've currently seen like other sources in Italy. We are looking at a swap deal between Morata and Benatia. Now the thing about Morata is, and I've said this in my Juventus preview match, my Juventus post match matches, Morata is the most clutch player I have ever seen besides Thomas Muller. He is the most. I can't describe him. I can't describe Morata because if you look at his actual record, his actual league record, I think he scored like 8 goals in 2 years. 8 goals in the league and the cup in 2 years. But the thing is, in the Champions League, he just seems to perform. In the Champions League, he just seems to come up in the most important moments when it matters. Morata matters. That's a bad no. Let's stop there. But as in the Champions League, he comes up good. He comes up great. But in the league itself, he's not that good. So I'm thinking, is Bayern going to look at Morata? Like, are we really going to look at Morata? Are we going to be like, yeah, you know what, you do well in the Champions League, so we're going to get you? I don't think so. And especially for a swap deal, of course, obviously we paid 28 million for Benatia, but how much is Morata worth? Because we're going to do a swap deal right now. We're looking at the rumours, Bayern is willing to sell Benatia for about 20 to 25 million. So if that is the case, I could actually see that working as a swap deal with Morata. But I think it would be much better if we actually, traded Benatia for Coman. Of course, we're not rushing anything with Coman right now, but I think that might be a good option because for sometimes you just have to reward players, when they play good, and he's been playing good in 2016. So I'll potentially look at how Coman continues this year and then look at how he does in the Euros to see, are we going to activate his, are we going to buy him already? And if not, then we'll wait. If yes, then we do. But I think sometimes you just have to reward a player a little bit, either with a better contract or, you buy him. In this case, obviously, you buy him. But that's just what I think. I don't think this rumour is very likely, not because I don't think Morata. I like the player himself. Like I said, I think he's one of the most clutch players. And if I was a coach and I had Morata on the bench, even if I had Gerd Muller in his prime as a striker, I'd put Morata on just because I know in a final he's going to score, in a semi-final he's going to score, in a quarter-final he's going to score, he's going to score or create something. That's basically what I know is going to happen with him, and that's why I think that he is a player that would do well at Bayern. But I don't think he's a player that we should be looking at. I think we should be looking at a much younger striker to be a backup to Lewandowski. But what do I put this rumor on? This swap rumor? Where do I put that at? I'd say I put it at about 15%. I think it's very unlikely, really. But there's always a little bit of doubt creeping in the back of my mind, just like, yeah, we're gonna buy him. We're gonna do a swap deal. Personally, like I said, I don't think we will. I put it at 15%, but that's just what I think. Tell me what you guys think of all these rumors in the comment section down below, people. This was me as TV. You can always rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Peace out. And I actually really like this blue color that I'm having, because right now the sun is setting, so obviously it would basically just be totally brown ish. So I try to turn it blue. I like that. I really like that. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. So like I said, you can rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. You can peace out, and you can have a nice day. Bye.